Because I feel like millennials are both. Like, I knew millennials who had more, like, sensitive friendships, and I knew the ones that I remember a guy friend of mine said that if he went to the movie theater with his guy friends, they sat every other seat. Like, they didn't sit next to each other. Are you serious?
Yeah.
We never
Yeah.
See, now me, I sat with my boy. Like we said, because like when I was young, we was all into like rock and skateboard. I used to skateboard and everything, so we was all always just clowning around. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So.
Now, do you think that has something to do with it? Because I do think, like, what's a good way to say that? Like, I feel like...
You got to kind of, like, catch a vibe off your friends. Like, how would they feel? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I feel like in the black community, if you're somebody who skateboard, like, those aren't traditionally seen as black things to do, especially as millennials growing up.
That's
like,
true.
I listen to rock music, and I was
it might be more.
person.
The funny thing is, it might be more normalized now.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
than it was.
They are, but not during our time.
Before, like, you'll see, like, Viva La Bam, Elementale, you'll see, like, a whole skateboard group, and it'll be, like, 20, Caucasians and, like, 2 blacks.
Yeah. What kind of music and stuff did y'all listen to?
I listen to like rock, heavy
Rock and
metal.
stuff, yep. I figured that.
I
figured that.
I mean, I
that's
got
a different culture.
Weird.
That's a different culture because, like, so I can't speak for young white boys. They might have done the every other seat thing too back then. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Depend on where they came from.
I know we did not.
I talked to some white boys who did the same thing. They sat every other seat too.
I would say, like, when I was growing up, it was different. Like, and I think it depends on literally the ethnicity you're around, because I'm hanging around like the white boys because I feel like I didn't really fit in, because everybody to me where I grew up was in the hood. They was doing stuff to me they wasn't supposed to. I was brought up different, so it's like, and it was like stuff I didn't like. Like, I don't want to be hitting people for no reason they didn't do anything. You're just walking home and you get hit. Like, that's how it was in elementary school. It's like you got something to prove with your boys. You know what I'm saying? So it was like 12 dudes and 2 kids just walking home, y'all just rolling them for nothing. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what they was all about. So I stuck to the guys that was not about that. Hey, I'll listen to Nickelback and Green Day and let's go skateboard, let's go to Walmart, let's go to KB Toys at the time.
Where'd you grow up?
He was like that.
I was Northeast.
Okay.
So like towards like the Boulevard, like Roosevelt Boulevard, going up there towards that area.
That's so crazy. I grew up in Illinois, and that sounds like my childhood. Like, me and my friends, I loved me some Nickelback back in the day and Green Day. And like Walmart was a place to hang out. Yeah. Or Taco Bell parking lot.
But my brother, Kareem, you just met, that's how he grew up though. But because around here you can go to either side. Like I hung around mostly black people. Like he's, you familiar with this area. Yep. I hung on the east side.
Exactly.
My brother hung out towards this side in Chestnut Hill. And they was in all of those bands and stuff and skateboarding and all that stuff. So
yeah, because I listened to Nirvana and all that stuff like that, and I got looked at as weird. Like, like, why are you listening to that? I'm
they might call you gay now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
but you know what I'm
certain groups of people might call you gay. You know
so, but I was able
from our generation.
From our generation. But when I was in college, I was able to adapt to everybody. Because, like I said, I didn't want to be just in one group.
You're more well-rounded.
Yeah, I was more well-rounded. So I can go over here, I can go over there. I just wasn't on that type of, I'm going to stick with them, Like, if I like Nirvana, I'm going to play it. If I like rap music or something like that, I'm going to play it. Like, but you got looked at as weird, though.
All right, so this is going to come down to the second part of the question, is it a good or bad thing? I think that's the more important part, because I think most people, not everybody, maybe like I said, like 75 to 80% people I polled, or whatever, and even if articles I looked up or whatever, feel like men, instead of saying men and boys, we'll just say men and young men or whatever, are more sensitive and affectionate toward each other nowadays. That seems to be the consensus, right? Mm-hmm. So let's look at why, and is it a good or bad thing?
I think mentally, I'm not a man, obviously, but mentally, I think it's necessary. Like, I feel like to be able to have that level of affection within your friends, like, what's wrong with you letting your friends know that you care about them and that you're here for them? I think we're in a place where I think a lot of people are tapping into wellness, especially like mental wellness. And part of that is making sure that you're open and like, why would you not be able to talk to your boys about that? I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not a boy.
No. I mean, I'm going to present the devil's advocate.
Right.
I'm going to do that just, for the sake of the purpose of this podcast, and make people think, outside of what you might be taught or what's the accepted way of thinking. So I'm going to present the devil's advocate just because it's necessary. But let's look at, like, because we know there's a trend, a push towards, and it happens in entertainment. Often you see it in entertainment and just a way of life. And I don't know what, I mean, I guess we could talk about where it comes from, but towards like a gay type of artist or gay lifestyles. More so, I think maybe even in the black community is pushed. Like on every TV show, they throw like a gay black person in there. You know what I'm saying? And we don't get represented enough as it is, but when we do, it's like always got to be a gay one. Right. And you see it amongst the younger crowd. They're like very open about it, and it seems to be something that's happens more and more. Like,
it's more accepting.
Now, you might look at that and say, well, what's the problem with that, right? One of the problems that can be identified with it is that the trickle-down effect of it may be that young men don't know how to be men, they don't know how to treat the women, and the end result of it can be destroying the black family, right? Because boys are not raised to be men, they don't know how to be men or whatever. Like, there is an effect that can be, tied to that. You know what I'm saying?
They are saying that there's more single moms now than ever,
right.
And that could be a thing. Because when you got a man, when you have a man in your life, you're raised different. And not even because like some dads don't even really know how to be men in this sense, so they might raise their sons to be too soft, and then now it's a trend. Like I said, you got to find like an equal balance, but you can't. I mean,
it's interesting because Keezy, you that's why I thought it was interesting. You said you raise your son with more you're more in tune to the emotional side when raising your son.
Exactly.
And you're a man, but you also probably aren't raising them to be like soft.
No.
Well, it's hard to say because your son is like, he has challenges. But you feel like there can be a balance with that. Basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's certain things where I tell him like, he goes by when he thinks something is supposed to be like to hurt. So he fell the other day. He got up. He kept doing what he was going to do. 2 minutes later, he was like, "Dad, it hurts." I'm like,
so he's paying attention because this is supposed to hurt. So
right? Yeah. So
maybe
like,
I should cry about it.
Yeah, right. So I'm saying, well, son, like you fell like 3 minutes ago, and now it hurts. So you check him out, and before I'll be like, and I say this in reverse. If I did that to my dad would tell me, man up.
Right. So there's a slight difference.
There's a slight difference. So I gotta, make sure you good. All right, cool. You can go back. You go back to playing, and he's fine. All right. But
so this is what I'm getting at a little bit with the devil's advocate. If you keep me call devil's advocate, it might just be a legit thing, right? Remember I'm talking to Shantae now. Remember I showed you the video of the dude that had the girl doing his somersault and stuff off his hands. So it's a TikTok of this. I guess he's famous on TikTok. His daughter is a gymnast, and he trains her by like holding her in his hand. She's little.
I remember we talked about this.
He flips her up in the air and he catches her and stuff like that. Sometimes she fumbles or whatever, and I think she fell one time or something. Yeah. And as a man, and I was showing this to Shantae, I'm like, this is how men deal with stuff. Like, he was just kind of like, he didn't say shake it off, don't deal with it, but he was like, come on, you can do it again.
She started to cry.
Right. And he was like, you can do it again. Wrong. And he was kind of like, you can do it again, shake it off, nicely. He wasn't like, you don't, he wasn't like yelling at her, but he was kind of like deflect from the pain, right? Most women wouldn't do that. They'd be like, "Oh, you okay?" They coddle to the child that way. But she did it. She got back up. She shook off the tears and kept doing it. Right. And so I bring this up to say, like, you need the balance between how a woman would do it and how a man would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Women are nurturers.
Yeah, that is true. But I don't know. I guess I have a hard time because if we're talking about men and their friendships and how they like their level of being affectionate and sensitive to their peers. That doesn't necessarily translate into gay, or the gay agenda. Like, how does that?
It's looked upon like that.
Yeah, it might depend on how your friends might look at it. Like, you gotta kind of, like I said, catch the vibe from your friend. Because the friends I was around, I could be like laughy, jokey, tickle each other. You do that to a different group, bro. Get off me. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta kind of like in the beginning when you getting to know your friends. Hey man, I'm Mike. Oh one of my best friends, Louis. Hey, it's Louis, man. Nice to meet you. You know what I'm saying? We start to vibe with each other. Okay, cool. I kind of see where I can, you know what I'm saying, where that might be a little bit too much, or that could be considered, gay and I'm
also go ahead.
When you're going through it and you need a friend on your side, which group of friends do you rely on? The ones that like, oh, that's gay if you step to me,
depends on what I'm going. What you mean? Depends on what I'm going through. Because I got like a group of friends that's kind of like hard stirred. and then I got a group of friends that could be a bit more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick based on what you're
based on the decision.
Exactly.
And also, I'm more talking about the topic as far as like emotional and what's not emotional. What's the word? You sensitive and affectionate, right? Where it can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. Like, so if you look at the child that's raised that way, right? And he grows up to be an effeminate man in the sense of what we might consider to be more nurturing or whatever case may be, more sensitive and all that kind of stuff. And that's a debate too, whether men are more sensitive than women or not. We'll get to that. But if that happens, right, I think there does come a time where he doesn't know how to relate to other men. He doesn't know how to relate to women as well. So when we look at like what people believe to be a problem in the black community with men and black women bickering and not getting along, women not respecting the men not wanting to be with the women, and so forth, right? A lot of these fuck boys, as they call them, were raised by single moms. A lot of them weren't taught to be men in the real sense of the word men, right? I'm not talking about brawny and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about being a man, knowing how to respect women type of thing. So the more effeminate traits you have, the less you're going to be able to do that. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And also, you're not like the more the trait, and you also might lean towards. Put it like this: women with women, right? When women, like a woman can easily sit on another woman's lap, and it's not seen as like gay, right? Women can hold each other's hands. It's not seen as
dudes
gay.
can't do that. No.
You can't do that at all,
right? If you start doing it, I feel like you do kind of lean towards. Because I just don't think men who are straight are not structured that way. I think there is a limit to like what a straight man feels comfortable doing.
Right. Well, it is interesting though, because I read a lot of like older literature. Well, I read a lot, period. But in older literature and in other countries too, men's friendships were more affectionate.
Yeah,
it wasn't uncommon for men to link arms when they walk down the street.
It's a cultural thing too. It's a cultural thing too.
Definitely.
So let me retract that a little bit. I do think there is a limit that men may have that women don't. Our bodies are structured differently. There's reasons for it. There's physiological reasons for it. But it's also culturally affected as well. Like there is a cultural influence on that as well. I remember when I was in Africa, I see men holding hands.
Yeah.
Wow, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that.
I mean, I like, but that's not weird to me though.
It's weird to me. Like from where I come from, and
I understand what you're saying.
You feel like when you grab that, when you get like just now, I'll be like,
I hear what y'all saying.
To let go in.
I hear what y'all saying, but I'm just saying that like in today's climate, it's not weird. Right. But for me, like I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's weird. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right.
But it really isn't.
Yeah. If I'm being real, as open-minded as I am,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, we were out today. We went to, where were we? Clark Park. And they were like men, like hairy legs, like not trying to look feminine, wearing dresses.
That's the thing.
Like in sneakers.
That's the thing.
Like, and that kind of caught me off guard. So yeah, I think I probably would be surprised if I saw men holding hands.
I look at my father's generation, right? And I don't think my father was trying to be hard, was trying to be like a man's man. He just is how he was. If he saw that today, he'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he would say that. That's what I'm saying.
And it's just his natural way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lining up the sheep and preparing to sink my teeth in. The AKA's the wolf. 4F